Texans, huh? Immune to the motivational powers of the Bud list. And Brew, you called it before the game. Something was going on there. CJ throws for under 200 yards, gets sacked 8 times, straight up just drops the ball at one point. Here's CJ postgame.
It's hard, to just sit here right now and think about what happened because you didn't watch film yet. But, of course, it's embarrassing. And, to come out here on the primetime game and, get embarrassed like that is never fun. And, I believe, we have to be better in a lot of areas. And that starts with me. I think there's plays I got to make, throws I got to make.
Okay, Brew, you were hinting at this yesterday. Weeks 1 through 6, 5-1, feeling good. Last 3 weeks, doesn't look like the real C.J. Stroud. Nick, should Texans fans be concerned?
Well, I'm less concerned about him than I am about the team. I think Brew's point yesterday might have been more team-related. Listen, they've trailed for 55-4. We pop their schedule up on the screen. You can go game by game. Except for one game, they have either lost or been in. Colts game came down to that. It was a 2-point game. They got to pick up that third down. Bears game, Caleb has the ball down 6. The Jags game, the Jags fail on that 4th and 1. They score a touchdown with less than 20 seconds remaining. The Bills game, the Bills do that wacky, have Josh Allen throw from his own goal line. Remember, they kick a field goal with the gun. They roll the Patriots. And then the Colts game last week, again, comes down to the very end. And so here's my problem for the Texans, Brew. And we can also, Dust, if we can, show their ranks. They're just kind of average at everything. And CJ, I think, has been clutch, but their offense is average and their defense is average with some really, they went from the best pass touchdown defense in the league to the worst. Every AFC team, the question is, can you have a good enough regular season to where Kansas City has to come to you? That's now, in my opinion, dead for the Texans.
Yes.
Yeah. Then the question is, okay, are you good enough to beat Kansas City in Kansas City? Not with that interior offensive line. Chris Jones had the greatest game of D tackles ever had in NFL history in a playoff game against those guys. And they lost their guard for the season yesterday. So that's, to me, the real concern, Brew, is if Kansas City's the standard, your single biggest weakness is the Chiefs' single biggest defensive strength, which is what Quentin Williams exploited last night.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I think they'll make the playoffs. And Indianapolis is a decent team that's going to get better.
It's going to be better in the short term.
So there'll be something you have to deal with. They beat them twice by a total of 5 points.
Yeah, but the tiebreaker's huge because they now swept them.
So I don't think Texans fans should worry about them making the playoffs. But for those that thought we got a chance to get to the Super Bowl, you don't.
Wow.
You don't have a chance. No.
Wow.
You don't. They're not. This is a lot, and they could be on funk watch. I don't think they'll fall into a funk like Philadelphia did. But I said yesterday, remember last year when Philadelphia started 10-1, and every week, not only us and other commentators, but the Eagles themselves, they just not playing well. You just don't feel like you're playing well, and that's what the Texans look like.
What, Wilds?
Whoop. Antennas up. King of vibes. And I felt the same thing you saw. After the game, C.J. Stroud said, we have to stop pointing fingers. We have to buy into the leadership. I was like, what was that? Stop pointing fingers. So it was a little hint of the vibe. And then you said, this side of the table, very,
sensitive to vibes.
Sensitive to vibes.
And also, Dust, if we can show my last graphic, the other thing on C.J. is, there is a line of demarcation. Since he took on the second job as league mentor, he hasn't quite been the same guy. I'm just telling you.
You are the king of a line in the sand.
Well, that is the line. Pivot point.
I don't know if that's an official line,
I've got the league so figured out. I can mentor this guy who was born 3 months after me. Come on, little bro. Since then, I'm just saying, not quite the same player.
Well, look.
That's all I'm saying.
To your point, Nick, this is the second time in the last 3 weeks that he's had a horrible game.
Yes.
against Green Bay a few weeks ago, 58 passer rating, 48% completion. Last night, 37% completion, and what is 59?
Against Green Bay, 86 yards.
Away.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Maybe Caleb should mentor him.
Okay. Yeah, he had 35 yards.
Right.
Not for the game.
How many yards did he have
No,
in the
but
game?
draw the line. He drew the line.
Street was about as critical as he'll be about the calling the illegal contact. And then the touchdown did take one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. But the most reassuring thing for the Jets in this game, Quinnen Williams started looking like Quinnen Williams. Now, maybe that's more about the Texans' interior offensive line. But Aaron and Devontae clicked again for the first time since he's been on the team. But
Reddick was also a factor.
oh, yeah, Reddick was a factor as well. That's a good point. But the thing is this. They're still a bad team. And I'm really glad you're not getting sucked back in the way I thought
I'm going to hold out hope, but yeah. I mean,
other people have been. Like, since Aaron Rodgers said, our next step is to go dominate, here have been the worst teams in football. The teams who have lost 5 games since Panthers, Saints,
Patriots
Jets.
not on it. This is our first negative
Patriots
graphic
not
that the
on it.
Patriots
Because they beat the Jets. Also, we talk all the time at the beginning of the year. Oh, teams that start 0-2, their record making the playoffs. Teams that start 0-3. Teams that have a 5-game losing streak at any point in the year, 2% make the playoffs. Like, it is not the teams that have the ability to lose 5 games in a row don't have the ability to then all of a sudden win 7 of 8, which is the type of thing the Jets are going to need to do. So if we can show their schedule real quick, because the point that I was trying to make was we look at the Cardinals as, oh, the Cardinals are not that good. The Cardinals are 4-4. The Colts, they're not that good. They're 4-4. The Seahawks, oh, they're not that good. They're 4-4. The Dolphins, they are 2-5 right now, but in a weird spot because Tua was out, and we'll see. The Jags are a legit bad team, and then the Rams 3-4, and the Bills a winning record. Like, I don't think the Jets or Jet fans or Jet media have any right to look at any game and be like, we should beat them. You lost to New England 5 days ago.
So twice, I guess, Al Michaels during the game, he was talking to Herb Street, that he sort of relayed what Aaron was telling him, and Aaron was selling him on, Seattle and the Rams have to come across. That's what he kind of hinted at. And he said, Aaron, he can sell you a few things. I was going to buy the Brooklyn Bridge after that conversation, but I settled for the Williamsburg. But after the game, he said, you know what? Wait a second, they can't run the table, and he makes you think they can. And I'm the mayor affair. I am no fan of the Jets, but I am the mayor affair. I haven't been the mayor for a while.
You're also the mayor of the last thing I saw is the only thing I saw.
Recency bias? The mayor of recency bias?
Yeah.
Perhaps. To Brew's point, and Brew, tell me if you're buying this at all. It might be just a strong no, and we can move on. Some of the things that you outlined, literally dropping a touchdown before you walk in, roughing the punter, roughing the center, the pass to Devontae Adams, I didn't pull it. The pass to Devontae, where Devontae's over here and the ball's back there, are so egregiously bad, they almost seem fixable. Versus when you see when you see other teams, like, you can't pinpoint where the Patriots right now, like, the players just aren't that good. There aren't egregious mistakes.
Yeah, but
there's some of these mistakes are so huge, like, I just don't do that, and we score.
No, look, if Corley doesn't drop that ball, maybe this is a big win. If he doesn't drop that ball, they win by a sizable amount. Where Nick and I disagree, and I'm shocked that you feel this way, Nick, they got talent.
It's not
like to say that they don't have talent.
I don't think they have more. I don't think they have top 10 in the NFL talent.
But they have more talent probably than most of the teams left on their schedule. I'll say that.
Like
at what position?
It depends on
what position group are they not? You know what I mean? Are they not good at? Like, talent-wise.
The offensive line, they're not good at. The quarterback room,
got some guys that have done some things. The quarterbacking?
Yeah, the quarterback
room,
he's not
great anymore. Last night he played well. Can he summons? Just be pretty good? Can he
good
be
for
pretty
half
good?
the game.
I mean, he was awful.
I mean, he's got 15 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. By Aaron Rodgers' numbers standards, those are bad. But that's actually pretty good.
But you don't think he's played pretty good?
No,
this
I
year?
don't.
No.
But I think, and I said last week he's washed, and
Yeah.
I don't mean he can't have quarters or halves like he did last night. But if he can, I don't expect him to be MVP for him ever. But if he can play well, solid, like he did last night.
I don't think he's good anymore. I think that we are 4 days removed from them losing to the Patriots. We are 11 days removed from them getting blown out by the Steelers. And while I agree the Corley thing is a one-off, those other things we're talking about, when they are happening,